Good morning everybody and welcome to today's English lesson. Today we are going to be inferring information, summarising the text and considering authorial intent. So first of all you will need Darwin, the evolution of an idea, the same reading text that we looked at on Wednesday, a highlighter and a pen or pencil, so pause while you go get those. And today I'm not going to go through and read the whole text again because I've got that on the video from Wednesday and that's still up. So if you do want to read that again with me, then that's fine. You can go back and find the video from Wednesday. You can watch it again yourself. I would recommend that right now you pause and you read the text through by yourself one more time because it's been a couple of days since we looked at it, just so you can refresh yourself what it's about. When you're finished, carry on. So we have looked at inferring information lots at school. So I'd like you to think to yourself, what are the steps? What would you do if you were answering an inference question? So I would read the question and identify the keywords, skim and scan to find where the information is, read the whole sentence, and use a combination of what I've read and my own knowledge to find the most likely answer. It can't just be what I've read because that would be retrieval. It can't just be my own knowledge because that wouldn't be anything to do with the text. It's got to be a combination of both. So here's my question. What happens to animals that don't adapt to their environment? So first of all, I need to identify my keywords. Which words are you going to pick? I think I'm going to pick don't adapt to the environment. And I might also pick animals because it might say something different about plants somewhere else. Let's have a look. Now this text is going to be tiny on your screen, but you have got it in front of you, so you use yours to skim and scan. See, where is that bit? About adapting to their environment. Aha! Creatures adapt to their environments. Got that there. Creatures means animals, so I must be looking in the right place. So I'm going to go back and read the whole sentence. These changes that help creatures adapt to their environments will be passed on to their offspring to improve the species so it continues to thrive and reproduce. That tells me what happens if they do adapt, but not if they don't adapt. The ones that don't, well, let's just say that nature takes care of them. Now, their text there hasn't really been very specific about what that means. So, I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking, okay, the ones that do adapt, they thrive, okay, they do well, they survive, they have offspring, they reproduce, they create babies. So the ones that don't adapt, well, it must be that they don't thrive, they don't do well, they don't survive, and they don't reproduce. So let's go back to my my work here. Oh, let me try and get rid of this highlighter. There we go. So, animals that don't in fact adapt to their environment, they don't survive and reproduce. Didn't tell me that exactly in the text, but I can use my knowledge to work with what I've been told in the text. That's all there is to it. So let's look at the next type of question. How do we summarise? Again, we've looked at this in class, so just think to yourself a moment, what would I do first if I was summarising a text? If I was trying to put it in order, if I was trying to match it to different headings, what would I do? So, first of all, I would read the statement. I would skim and scan to find out where it is in the text. I would underline, highlight, or draw a symbol next to where it is. Different classes have gone about this slightly different ways. It does not matter which method you use as long as you're comfortable with it and you do it in the right places. And then you're going to repeat that for all the statements, look at which order they occur in the text and put the correct number in the correct box or match the right heading with the right information. So, number 1, order the events according to the order they appear in the text. So first of all, I'm going to look for my keywords in each question. So, Darwin returned to England. So I think I'm going to highlight there, return to England. Darwin began to collect beetles. So again, I'm probably going to highlight beetles there. Darwin began to consider why some species were extinct. So I'm going to put that he was considering why some species were extinct. And the HMS Beagle stopped near Africa. going to highlight HMS Beagle there because it's not Darwin anymore. And it stopped near Africa. So now I need to go through and I need to find those 4 things in the text. Again, it will be tiny on your screen, but you can find them in your own text. So, returned to England. I'm going to need to do a lot of skimming and scanning here, although I could remember that he was on the voyage for most of the text, so when he returned to England is probably quite near the end. Here we go. Returned to England. Okay, next one was began to collect beetles. Again, I'm probably going to remember that was relatively near the beginning. See, I'm looking for collector of beetles. There we go. Next one. He began to consider why some species were extinct. So let's have a look. I'm skimming and scanning here. Ooh, well, maybe this bit. This made Darwin begin to wonder what might cause a species to be wiped out. Now, it hasn't got exactly the same words, but wonder means the same as think or consider. What might cause a species to be wiped out? Would that mean the same as to go extinct? They didn't exist anymore? I think it does mean the same. So sometimes the key words don't exactly come up in the text, but something similar that means the same thing will. And then the last one, the HMS Beagle stopped near Africa. So I'm looking for when it's talking about the HMS. Ooh. Now it talks about it once up here and then once down here. So maybe I'd better check them both. First stop at Cape Verde, a group of islands off the coast of Africa. So that's when it's stopping near Africa. So you can see here now I've got 4 different statements. It's really easy to see which one comes first. So collector of beetles comes first. Let's change this back into a pen. So this is going to be 1. Then after that it will be that the HMS Beagle stopped near Africa. So that will be 2. Then Darwin began to wonder what might cause a species to be wiped out. That would be 3. Which means Darwin returning to England must be 4. And there we have it. That's all there is to it. Now, our final kind of question might be the most tricky that we look at today because we've talked about it a bit at school, but we probably haven't spent as much time on it as the others at school. So we're going to look at authorial intent. So first of all, who is the author? The author is the writer of the text. So the writer of the book, the writer of the speech, whatever it is, the writer. And what do you think we mean by authorial intent? So if author means writer, what does intent mean? So this is what the author intended for us to think, what they wanted us to think when they chose those words. Or why did they choose these words and not something different? What impact do they have on the reader that maybe a different set of words wouldn't have had quite that same impact? So when authors are writing a text, they make lots of different choices, sometimes about the organisation of a text. Why did they choose those words for that subheading? Why did they put a caption next to that picture? Why did they present that information in a table instead of a paragraph? It could be about the ordering of words, phrases and clauses for effect. So perhaps they're using alliteration to bring attention to a particular thing. Maybe in a list, they've put the most important item first. The choice of vocabulary, which is what I think we're mostly going to be looking at today, and the use of other writers' devices, so punctuation, spacing, all those other things. So, I'm not going to make you guess these because we've not done it as much at school. So this is what we're going to do. Excuse me. We're going to read the question and highlight the word or phrase used. Skim and scan to find this word or phrase in the text. Read the whole sentence. Does the word or phrase have 2 or more meanings that we should think about? Or does the word or phrase create a specific image in your mind? What is that image and how do those words help to create it? So this is our question. the evolution of an idea. Suggest 2 reasons why these words were used in the heading. So first of all, I'm going to highlight the bit that I'm looking at. So, get my highlighter sorted. There it is. The evolution of an idea. And I'm also going to highlight the fact that I need 2 reasons, because if I only give 1 reason, I won't have answered the question fully. So it says why these words were used in the heading. So, find it in the text. Here we go. The evolution of an idea. Read the full sentence. Darwin, the evolution of an idea. That didn't help me much this time, did it? Never mind. And now, this word, are they creating a particular image in your mind? I'm not sure that they are for me. So I think this time we're going to be looking at point 4. Does the word or phrase have 2 or more meanings that we should think about? So first of all, what does the word evolution mean? We've talked about this quite a few times now between our reading comprehensions and our science. So evolution means things changing slowly over time. So what is this text telling us about? First of all, it's telling us about evolution of animals, about how Darwin noticed that there were little changes from animal to animal, from island to island, and that these had happened over time. So, the word evolution means change over time. The text talks about animals changing over time. But what else does it talk about? It says evolution of an idea. What else is changing over time? Not just the animals. Darwin's ideas are changing over time. So Darwin didn't straight off start thinking when he began that voyage that evolution was the reason why this had happened. He had no idea. But over that 5-year voyage, he began to slowly collect ideas in his mind, slowly think about them, work on them, change them, adapt them, so that by the end of those 5 years, his ideas about how animals were created, how animals were formed, had completely changed to how they were before. So the text talks about animals changing over time and how Darwin's ideas, note that apostrophe because the ideas belong to Darwin, changed over time. So you can see in my answer, I've got 2 reasons because there are 2 different meanings of the word evolution and they're both used in this text. They're talking about the evolution of animals and the evolution of Darwin's thoughts. And there we have it. That's how you answer an authorial intent question. So, let's have a look. Now you need to complete the worksheet on Class Dojo. Remember to use A, B, C or T to write your answers with a keyboard. A, B, C if you're on an app, on a tablet or a phone. T if you're on a laptop or a computer. The help session is at 12:30. Log into Teams if you have any questions or you need any help. Remember to read your book for at least 20 minutes every day. Okay, that's all I need to tell you about today's lesson. Make sure that you get your work in on time. Come to the team session if you need us. And other than that, I hope you have a very lovely weekend. Bye!